A couple of weeks ago, I went to the park and I was like, today I think I'm gonna try to talk to a new person. And after a few hours, I found someone who looked interesting. It was some girl who was like sketching in her book or whatever. And like, it took me like 10 minutes to try and figure out a way to start a conversation with this woman. I walk up to her and I'm like, hey, you drawing? Yeah, that was my brain operating at like 2,000,000%. So she's like, yeah. And I'm like, nice. Can I see? And she hands me the sketchbook and it's just a bunch like a bunch of doodles and abstract shit. And I'm like, oh, this is real cool. And I'm like, you go to school for art or whatever? And she's like, no, I just like drawing random stuff and whatever. I'm like, nice. And then I just stood up there like a fucking dumbass, not knowing how to continue the conversation. And then eventually I was like, yeah, I draw too. And then I just stood up there more like a fucking dumbass. And she just looked at me and was like, are you gonna draw? So I said, yeah. Pulled out my sketch pad, which thank God I had on me at the time. And I started like sketching a tree. And it looked like fucking ass. We was just like sitting down there in silence, just sketching. No conversation was going on. It was the most awkward fucking moment of my life. I didn't know how to like keep the conversation going or anything. It was so fucking wild. I just knew this woman was probably thinking the fucking worst. At this point, I haven't had a haircut in like months, so I was just looking like a fucking Wojak. Eventually, she's like, yeah, it's getting cold, so I'm gonna leave. And she got up and walked away. So then I got up and I'm like gonna leave in like another direction so she wouldn't think I was like following her. And I see another woman who's out drawing. And I once again, big brain, I'm like, hey, you draw. This wasn't even like far away, so if she probably heard the conversation I had with this other woman, she was probably like, this fucking loser can't talk to a woman. Anyway, and I was like, yeah, you drawing or whatever? And she's like, yeah. And same, you go to art school? And she was like, yeah, actually. She's like, does character design or some shit. I don't know. I can't remember. I've been trying to repress this memory. And I was like, nice. And I didn't even ask if I could see this time. I was just like standing over her like a fucking weird, dumb fucking idiot. And then she picks up her phone and looks at it and pretends she got a missed call and said she got to return a call to one of her friends or something like that. And then I walked away. Anyway, that's the story of the last time I spoke to a woman my age in a way that wasn't generic small talk or something, I guess.